Okay, so I want to ask you a kind of a strange question as we get into the Devar Torah. I want to ask you if you think it's possible to change history. Oh, you do need that. We're going to be using that later. Do you think it's possible to change the past? Go ahead.
I would say you can't change the past, you can change the perspective, and everyone has a different perspective. So,
Okay.
One could argue that, but, what happened.
Okay, and anything to add or anything I read a lot of science fiction, so that's where my head goes, but Sophia, go ahead.
Yeah, I think you can definitely, you can't change the past, but
Okay.
you can change, by making amends with people, so kind of just say you had a falling out with someone,
Right.
change that.
Right, so for those of you at home who can't quite hear, we've heard that you can't change the past, but you can change the story, right? You can change the story by making amends and etc. So Fred, you wanted to add?
I was just going to say, you can change yourself from what you were maybe when you were younger to a new person just by, as you age, you get more wisdom and so forth, and you can change your own outlook on life and the whole thing.
So Fred's saying you can change yourself. You can grow. You can change your outlook. You can grow in wisdom. Okay, so Bernie, go ahead.
Until the time machine has been built and actually works,
Yes.
I don't think we can change anything.
And I like it actually works. Bernie said until the time machine is built and actually works. So he's been working on it in his basement. Well, let us know when you have a functional prototype. There's a couple of things I'd like to go ahead, Linda.
I don't think you can change the past. You can change the history that you write about the past.
Interesting.
They say history is written by the winners.
Yes, Linda just said history is written by the winners, and you can change the way that history is written, and that's kind of an ominous thing. So we're going to go Richard, Ron, and Brian, and then I'm going to talk some more. Go ahead.
Yes, history is our story of the past, but because you can change the story, you can change the meaning and the effect of history. So that by changing the way we tell the story, it's not always written by the winners, lots of it written by the losers. The Civil War was written mostly by the losers, by Southern historians. But you can change how we use it and what it means to us going forward by changing the way we understand what happened.
Thank you, Richard. Thank you. I think everybody heard you because you were sitting right next to the microphone. Go ahead. Linda, no, you already went. Ron, go ahead.
Well, you can't change the past, but you can certainly alter how people remember it.
You can alter how people remember it. Yeah. Okay. And Brian, you're closing us up.
You can change what we know about the past through theology and astronomy and all, through finding out new things about the past.
So we can fill in more of the story. Yeah? Okay. So let us now relate this to Torah, obviously. So in this week's Torah portion, Jacob is returning to his homeland and has to confront his brother, Esau, and that did not go well the last time they saw each other. It was 20 years prior to this week's Torah portion. And you may recall that Jacob stole Esau's blessing from his father by dressing up in his clothes and pretending to be him, so by subterfuge. And in this week's Torah portion, Jacob has his whole retinue with him, all of his two wives, his 2 maidservants who are like wives, his 12 kids, all of this cattle, all of this livestock, probably a bunch of people working for him. And he makes his way back home. And there's this very strange, to my eyes, interaction between Jacob and Esau, where it kind of looks like he bribed his brother into not attacking him. That's like one way to read this story, right? One way to read this story is he's heading home, he's got all this stuff, Esau's coming with 400 men, he's terrified, and he says, you know what we're going to do? We're going to send a lot of cattle up front. We're just going to send them with all the wealth, a lot of the wealth we've got. We're going to propitiate. Okay. We're going to make him feel really good about himself. and he won't want to attack. And it sort of, when I read this, it sort of rubs me the wrong way, because it's sort of, Jacob is our patriarch. He's supposed to be someone that, yes, has flaws, but also someone we're supposed to admire. So this part always bothered me. So I was reading about it, because that's my job, right? I was reading about it, and I found an interpretation that I'd never seen before that I really liked. And it made me feel a little bit better about it. So I'm going to take you through it as quickly as possible. I'm going to take you, okay, so let us review what Isaac said for the blessing, okay? We know that Isaac gave Jacob the blessing. Esau finds out about it. He's very upset. So what does he do? When Esau heard his father's words, he burst into wild and bitter sobbing and said to his father, "Bless me too, father." But he answered, Your brother came with guile and took away your blessing, Esau said. Was he then named Jacob that he might supplant me these 2 times? Since Akev means grab your heel and supplant. First he took away my birthright, and now he has taken away my blessing. And he added, Have you not reserved a blessing for me? Isaac answered, saying to Esau, But I have made him master over you. I have given him all his brothers for servants, and sustained him with grain and wine. What then can I still do for you, my son? And Esau said to his father, Have you but one blessing, father? Bless me too, father. And Esau wept aloud, and his father Isaac answered, saying to him, See, your abode shall enjoy the fat of the earth, and the dew of heaven above. Yet by your sword you shall live, and you shall serve your brother, but when you grow restive, you shall break his yoke from your neck. That's pretty damning, right? How do you come back from that? So I want to take you through, first of all, I have to read you what the actual blessing was, because this comes in. Okay, so, oh, it's right, yeah, it was right where I put it. Okay, so Isaac's actual blessing to Jacob. May God give you, that he was supposed to give to Esau, may God give you of the dew of the heaven and the fat of the earth. Okay, sounds familiar. Abundance of new grain and wine. We didn't hear that. Okay, we didn't hear that before. Let peoples serve you and nations bow to you. Be master over your brothers, and let your mother's sons bow to you. Cursed be they who curse you, blessed be they who bless you. So when I read this, I sort of skim over it. It just sounds like a lot of blah, 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 blah. But the way this interpretation was explained is that each of these is a bullet point that Jacob then comes back and addresses in this very short bit where he reconciles with Esau. So listen for it. May God give you of the dew of the heaven and the fat of the earth, abundance of new grain and wine. So it starts off, one of the brothers is rich. Okay, Jacob in this instance is rich. Back 20 years ago, Esau was the one with the birthright. He was going to get the inheritance, okay? So that starts up there. Then it goes to let peoples serve you and nations bow to you. So let's see, what is the first thing that Jacob does when he encounters his brother, right? He sent the cattle, the ox, the goats, the she-goats, everything. It's a whole parade. Looking up, Jacob saw Esau coming, accompanied by 400 men. He divided the children among Leah, Rachel, and the 2 maids, putting the maids and their children first. Let's just ignore that. Leah and her children next. Okay. And Rachel and Joseph last. He himself went on ahead and bowed low to the ground 7 times until he was near his brother. Okay? So Isaac, the blessing that Jacob stole, said, your brother is going to, I made Jacob your master, right? So the converse of this is Jacob now bowing. This isn't, this can be interpreted not just as some throwaway, but this is Jacob going through step by step every single point. So he bows. Then they embrace, right? And then they cry. And that can be paralleled back to to Esau's tears when he didn't get the blessing, right? So we're to know that the tears of rage of Esau have now been turned into tears of reconciliation. So everything that Isaac took from him, the land, the power, the prestige, he's trying to return in this giving of the animals, bowing, and then the very last part of this is he brings all the boys forward, all of his sons forward, and the 12 tribes of Israel bow in front of Esau. So he has been trying to rewrite history, or rewrite himself, or show Esau that he is not the same person that he was before, by going through step by step, and at the very end he says, and I give you my blessing. On the surface of it, it means I give you my blessing, go with God. But if you look for the under meaning of it, it means I now give you back the blessing that I stole from you. So this sits a little bit better with me just because at least it looks like our patriarch is really trying to go through the points of reconciliation that we all understand about atonement from living through Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. So I just want us to compare this or to think about this when we think about things in our own lives that we don't think we can change, right? It's true, Bernie. Until someone invents and actually makes it work, time machines, we're not going to be able to go back in time. But if we can try to do what Jacob did, what you were saying, Fred, change yourself, change the way we understand the story, then we can move forward in our lives in a different way and hopefully in a better way. Shabbat Shalom.